How we doing? All right. Good to see you. We're near Chester, aren't we? So I guess we're not too far out. What the fuck is that on your back? Fast, light, and natural. What are you advertising? Condoms. Innovate, bloody hell. We came up with that marketing campaign. Hope, no doubt. Fast, light, natural.
Sponsored by Durex now, mate. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Never leave the house without protection. What was it? Play dirty.
Play dirty, yeah.
Play
it's
dirty.
Getting a bit raunchy in a bit, isn't
Play
it?
dirty, work clean. What have you come as anyway? Laz on Timu.
Timu Laz. Laz off Wish. Mate, vintage special list, tenner. North Face as well, and reversible, so really it's £5 per
No
top.
way I'm having you paid for clothes.
honestly,
Especially off North Face.
Honestly, this is what he's come to for the fashion earlier stuff. Well, say fashion earlier stuff.
Look at
something
those
a bit different.
desperados here. Yeah. He sent me a free
Awesome.
t-shirt, so good on you lads.
Yeah, he's a big fan. Is Adrian of the podcast as well. He's one of our regular listeners. Although he's 3 episodes behind. I spoke to him this morning, so I've told him to catch up because he's had a few mentioned.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, by the time he listens to this then it'll be summer.
Yeah. No Chris again today?
No Chris again today. He's I don't know what he's up to this time.
Is he trying to tell us something? You think
I
that's
think
it now?
so,
That'll be the
yeah.
last we see of him. Just me, you and Ben, isn't it now?
This was our choice this time. We've decided Chris doesn't even know about this recording. We just asked Ben to
Just
sort
gone
it.
underground. Yeah, we just bypass Chris now, don't
Yeah.
we?
Chris
Yeah.
is Ben. That's my
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah.
Chris is Ben behind the camera.
He gave me a key 3 years ago. Little did he know I'd be taking over his job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and his house.
Phasing him out, yeah. Nice house as well, so yeah. Don't blame us. We could have a right party in here, couldn't we?
While he's on holiday, we should get it on Airbnb.
Make some cash. Fund the pod.
No one else is sponsoring us.
Make the cash. Fund the pod and my ski trips as well.
Yeah. That's true. You've been
Jet setting.
jet
Yeah.
setting,
Snuck 5 days in Chamonix. Valacine, actually.
pissing away that trust fund again.
Pissing away the trust fund. Burning through that family credit. Yeah, great little trip away. Oh, it's nice to be back there as well. Second home. Yeah, I did go into Chamonix. Thought about you, mate.
Where did you stay?
Valacine.
Oh, you
So,
stayed there.
yeah.
Right, got you.
Good thing is as well, if you rent anywhere, or in fact, if you're in a hotel or in Airbnb, whatever, you get like a travel pass. So you can use that train for free. So we're literally up and down the train, day after day.
I've never
Valacine,
stayed in
Chamonix,
Valacine.
Argentière. Oh, it's
Been
really
through
good.
it, yeah.
Really nice. And because it was kind of out of school holidays as well, there was one day where we went and skied on this smaller piste, La Poya, if anybody knows it, near Le Bouet, which is the first stop before Valacine. And there was nobody on the slope. Like, we literally had a full slope to ourselves. So we were just doing a few runs, coming down to the bottom, having a beer, going back up. I mean, it's only a small slope. And Kirsty was practicing because she did her ACL, as she mentioned on previous episodes. So this is the first time she's been back skiing since. So she was a bit nervy. I went snowboarding with Josh, who's effectively my son-in-law, and my stepdaughter. She was sort of skiing as well, but learning the ropes pretty
You
much.
know snowboarding more than skiing?
Yeah, I've never skied, so I've always
I've
snowboarded.
never skied.
Yeah,
Well, I tried it once, so I should do it more, to be honest. Do it more. I should try it.
yeah, you should try it. Yeah, can you board, or is it just a
No.
skiing tried?
No?
Well, I'd sort of learnt to board first of all, and then every time I went since, it got to a point where it was like, do I spend a week boarding because I can board, or do I spend a week learning
Yeah.
to ski? And I thought, do you know what? And every time I've gone since, I've just been like, I'll just board, it's easier. But sometimes it's not easier. I mean, the button lifts out there, it's where you put it looks like a button that you put under your arse, basically. It's harder on a board to get up and down. So you've got to
Harder
master that. Harder on a board to get up and
It's
down.
hard on your balls.
Yeah, it's harder on your balls as well.
Just giving it that.
yeah.
If you're not watching this, then it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. So no, good 5 days out. Back to it though. Back to normality again. Straight back into work. Managed to switch the work emails off for a few days, and kind of unplug. But yeah,
Yeah,
straight back
because
to
we were
it.
meant to record this at a different time, weren't we? Until we got a message in the WhatsApp group going, "Oh yeah, forgot I'm on holiday."
Yeah, we'd organised it all, hadn't we? Everything was set up. Chris was here for that one. He'd set the cameras up, and I was like, "Sorry, lads, I forgot I'm going on holiday." So
Yeah.
apologies.
Right, better introduce the podcast then.
Welcome to the RUNcensored podcast. We're back on our monthly edition of ChatGBT with me, Ben Mounsey, and Gary House. And today, asking the questions is Ben, the
Hello.
new Chris.
How's it going?
Chris is Ben. All right, Ben. Good to see you, mate. I'm Ben. Gary's Ben. So Chris, no, Ben. Ben, fire
Too many
away.
Bens.
Call me whatever you like. Whatever's easy, honestly. Okay, so first question. If you could choose to go running with anyone in the world, who would it be?
I know who you're going to say, Gary. It's going to have to be Claudia Winkleman, isn't it?
Oh, that's not who I was going to say, but I will change my answer to that, yeah.
What were you going to say?
I'd probably say like Liam Gallagher or something.
I would be good, wouldn't
Yeah, oh, you keep promising Ronnie O'Sullivan, but...
he? Do you know, I need to message you back, don't I? Yeah.
yeah.
I really want to get Ronnie O'Sullivan on there.
Yeah.
On here, sorry.
Don't tell everyone because otherwise I'll be calling for it and it might not happen. But yeah, it may happen in future. But yeah, good question. Who would you go with then? While I quickly think.
Well, because I was thinking of like Claudia Winkleman for you, because I know you've got a soft spot for her. I'm thinking of who my kind of celebrity.
I'm not going to run after her for a couple of hours. I'm not that much of a
I
pest.
thought an excuse to have 2 hours of Claudia Winkleman, you'd been all over that, wouldn't you? Really? Because you've got a pass, haven't you?
Stop
With
trying to get me in trouble
with
when I go
Charles.
home.
I thought she'd given you a pass for.
I think
Claudia.
I would get a pass for Claudia Winkleman. Yeah.
I mean, my equivalent is Jet from Gladiators, but that was like 30 odd years ago when I had a crush on her.
Yeah.
When she was in Gladiators.
What are you saying? She's too old for you now?
Well, yeah, probably. She's probably changed now a lot, and I don't know. I mean, I've
You don't want to ruin the illusion.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the illusion. That's exactly what it is, Gary. Yeah, but I remember, and I'm going off on a tangent
I
now.
reckon in a few years' time you'd be able to get Jet from 20 years ago as AI or something.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Because I did have a big crush on her. In fact, so much so that, and again, going off on a tangent here, but Frosties...
Who would you rather run with who turned into sex robots?
It's a better question. That can be question 2. But I remember back in the day, back when Jet from Gladiators was big on the screens, Frosties, Kellogg's were doing this promotion where you could, you used to cut the tokens off the boxes. So if you collected so many tokens and sent a check for a $5 off to Kellogg's, they sent you a life-sized cutout of a gladiator. You could pick whichever gladiator you wanted. So obviously, I saved up for Jet. I got Jet pretty early on. I was eating Frosties for breakfast, lunch, tea until I got these tokens. Got them pretty quick. Got the $5 off. This life-size Jet came back. Incredible. I know what you're thinking now. I didn't do anything with it, but it just sat in my room. I know he was thinking that. He was looking at me like, what did you do with it? Cutting holes in it or whatever.
I'd zoned out thinking about Claudia Winkleman.
Imagine if they did that now. You'd definitely get one, wouldn't you? But I had Jet in the corner of my bedroom. And then I thought, why not stop there? So I got Lightning as well. Mate, I even got Wolf. I didn't do anything with the Wolf one. But yeah, but I thought, why not? I'm on a bit of a roll. I sort of got a taste for Frosties, got a taste for all the Gladiators, really. And but yeah, Jet
so the
from
success
Gladiators.
of Kellogg's was basically on the back of you kind of perverts. I missed out on that.
Yeah, I mean, let me know if anybody else remembers this. I mean, you've got to be the same era as me. I'm 44 this year. So if you're sort of early to mid 40s, you might remember Frogwellies, and you might remember the cutouts from Gladiators that you could get free. Well, I say free for £5 and all these tokens from
£5 plus £500 worth of Kellogg's.
Yeah. Oh, it was worth it though, mate. Honestly, it was really worth it.
Was it actual life size?
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, life size. Yeah, I mean that was one of the best things.
How did
I've
the
ever
day
got.
come about where you had to get rid of those?
When I had to
It turned to paper mache.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know? I'm not sure actually. Yeah, I think it must have been lost in a house move somewhere. I can't remember the day that I parted with the life-size Jet from Gladiators or the Wolf, as it matters. But I mean, I was probably downsizing in some way, and I just had to make a brutal cut. But yeah, Jet from Gladiators.
What do you think of the Gladiators now?
I've sort of watched it a couple of times, but I just don't get that same buzz as back in the day. That was special, wasn't it? I mean, Saturday night TV back in the day was unbelievable.
I am into it, but it's slightly different me. I'm sat with the kids that are bang into it. So it's like it is nostalgic. I think there's less risk in this one. Something like I seem to remember more risk in the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Good program, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Back to the question, though.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't Jet from Gladiators, and let's just take that out, and if it wasn't you, Gary, because we can go run any time, or
Yeah.
Kirsty, I think, do you know what? I think I probably would go with somebody like Ronnie O'Sullivan, if I'm totally honest. And I'm
Yeah.
not just saying that because we want to get him on the podcast. I would say Killian, but me and him are already tight. I don't know if I've mentioned it to you, but we are really good mates. Got him on WhatsApp and everything. So I would say Killian, but sort of already done that.
You've been watching
T-shirt.
Adolescence. It was on Netflix.
Oh, amazing. One of the best things I've seen on TV.
Brilliant, wasn't it? And
recently,
the link is I'd go for a run with that Stephen Graham.
Yes, that is a good shout. That is a great shout. Because whatever he's in, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah.
That is one of those series where you kind of start watching it and think, I'll just do an episode. And I ended up doing all 4 in the same night.
Well, we've got to do
I
the
binged
last one this evening.
I won't ruin it for you
No,
then. But
so I was going to say, yeah. But
I binged that this week, got back from the ski trip and literally did the full thing in one night.
like you said, we were going to just watch, because I quite like it when you can't binge stuff, because then if it's out every week, then at least you're not hearing about it, whatever. Because Charlotte, she goes to an office for work, so she hears everything, whereas I don't. So I could quite happily back stuff up, but she hears about what's happened and this, that, and the other. So the fact that this was, you could binge it. I never expected to, but like you said, we've done one every night the last 3 nights. So I've got to do the last one tonight, because otherwise I won't get a chance.
Yeah,
For a week. So
such a good series. Yeah, really well shot.
yeah, but he'd be quite, because funny enough, because I've been playing a bit of golf. I saw him do like a golf, one of these golf channels. I can't remember which one. And he always seems just. I like these people that are obviously talented and love what they do, but then they're just normal off the screen.
Stay humble.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really skeezers in the game, aren't
Yeah. So
I reckon
not that
that'd be-
Liam Gallagher seems like quite. Well, he is normal, isn't he?
we? Yeah, he's normal. Yeah,
But it's not going to be like he is when you see him on the telly 24/7, is he?
that's true. I feel like that'd be a good run out, actually. Me, you, Stephen Graham, and Ronnie O'Sullivan. That would be
And Liam
some
Gallagher.
dream team. And Liam Gallagher can come as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, any of those 3 on a podcast would be good. Let's try and get Ronnie. Ronnie, please. Do the
Which
right
one do you
thing.
reckon we can get first?
I'm gonna message Ronnie and see if we can get him on
Yeah.
for a run and for the podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Good question, Ben. What's next?
Before we continue, Gary, just bring your mic a little bit closer.
Closer.
Like 4 fingers, I think Chris says.
He does say that.
He
a lot,
likes
yeah.
that. More like
Bet he
5.
does.
Or fist, he sometimes says.
Okay, question. Settle down. Question for Gary. My dad told me that Gary is his hairdresser in Bangor and does an excellent job on his monthly fade. Is Gary his hairdresser, or is my dad talking shit?
Someone's trolling me here on this channel. In Bangor.
What question? Is that right? Are you a hairdresser in Bangor? Or is
No,
his dad talking shit?
so we should have had the lads here for this one, but yeah, I've told this story before. If you follow me for a long time, people will know that I started out my career as a hairdresser. Yeah, not in Bangor. I wouldn't lower myself to those standards. I was trying to be a high level hairdresser. Yeah, I did some training with Tony and Guy and some other places, and yeah, so to think that I could have been a hairdresser now still. It is pretty mad, to be honest. The career never really fully flourished because, well, yeah, I started running so much and I met Charlotte and went in a different path, to be honest.
Just think you could have been with Nicky Clark now, couldn't you? It's running into the distance together.
Yeah, well, it's funny because at the time I worked in a Nicky Clark for a bit, and he was a celebrity, one of the old school celebrities,
Huge,
I guess.
wasn't he?
And yeah, arguably now we're more of a celebrity.
Yeah, the rise of Gary House and the decline of Nicky Clark.
Yeah, but it's funny because now, like, I know quite a lot of lads through Instagram or whatever, and things that are really good barbers and stuff. When I was trying to be a hairdresser, it wasn't the thing to do. So I was playing Saturday League, Sunday League, football, and I did hairdressing. Because I was still quite late on. It was like, I think I was 19 or 20, trying to do a bit of a career move. I thought, I'm just going to go to Manchester and be a hairdresser.
As you do, yeah.
Well, it was Chester first, then I went to Manchester. Anyway, I I just didn't tell them for probably half a year. I think I maybe told one or something on a night out, and then it come out in the changing rooms. So I obviously got the piss took out of me a lot.
But then they all asked for haircuts.
Well, first of all, it came. We used to go for a drink on a Friday with some of the girls from work. Bear in mind, I was 19, 20 and single at the time. So, yeah, when they met up for us in Chester for a drink, their attitude soon changed. I remember taking the lads out, meeting them for a drink once, and it was just me and all the girls from Tony and Guy. And it was so yeah, they saw the benefit then. And then within a few weeks, so turning up on a Friday night before we went to the pub, there'd be the 5 lads sat on the sofa having a drink, and I'd have to cut everyone's hair before we went out.
Brilliant.
I remember my mate Stocky turned up with a. Bear in mind, they were all taking the piss out of me. Turned up with a picture of John Terry
and said, "Can you do this?" Brilliant.
Quality.
Brilliant.
Good times, mate. Yeah. So yeah, a long time ago, in lockdown, I cut the kids' hair a little bit, but then since then, I've been banned. Yeah.
Maybe a nice feature of the podcast would be to get a guest on and they could get their hair cut by you. Like that could be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Or yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I can't picture myself doing it these days, really. But I do.
I don't think you'll ever lose it, will you, Gary?
No, I touch on this. What I used to love was almost the interactions and stuff. Because before that, I was working on bars, and I ended up working on cocktail bars, and then the nighttime didn't really play into what I was doing. I got obsessed with running, and so I saw it as an opportunity, and it was kind of similar, right? It's like learn the basic skills is all I was getting to at that point. But then, yeah, just spending all day chatting.
Good people skills. Practice,
yeah, that's what I quite
Yeah.
liked, to be honest. And I was always, I brought the same personality you know. I was a bit of a wind-up merchant in there, and I think they liked that as well. So, yeah.
Definitely. So the
answer was no. I've never. What was it? Banged your mum or something?
Yeah. Are you his dad's hairdresser in Bangor?
That's
you did
right.
a nice fade for him. But so the answer is no then, isn't it? He's getting you mixed up with somebody else.
Answers no, mate. Sorry, I've never.
I wonder if it's the same person who's been running in Conway that's been spotted at the Gary House.
I know.
In fact, who's the... you showed me something on your phone the other day. It was another Gary House, was it, on your phone, or somebody called
Yeah,
House?
what was it? Gary House's Family Fitness or something? Jeremy
Somebody
House.
got in touch, didn't they, with you?
Weirdly, on Instagram, other Gary Houses find me and follow me. So there's a few of them. But yeah, one of them, a new one popped up. I think it's weird. It's a bit like, when you drive past the same car as you and they give you a wave.
Yeah.
I find that very weird.
Yeah, Kirsty does that all the time. It's a VW thing as well, isn't it? If you've got a van, I know that's a thing, but it's probably the same
That's
for any car.
I mean, I can kind of let you get away with that because you're all the same kind of, look at us, we've got a VW. But
nothing says I'm better than you like a
when
VW,
it's like a
does
little
it?
red Fiesta or something, you're like, what? I parked in I was going to say lay-by then. I parked in a service station once, and I had a distinctive red Cougar car, right? No one in this service station, and when I come back out, an almost identical car was parked, like head on in the space.
No
So
way.
they'd obviously done it on
to
purpose. I was like, get in that car and go.
get the
quick.
attention, yeah. Were they flashing at you when you
No, they weren't
got
in
into
there.
them?
They weren't in there, luckily. I just find that behaviour odd.
Do you reckon it was somebody in the Gary House fan club then? Or
No,
maybe like
mate,
one of these
no.
people. So these people reach out to you. I mean, maybe I could get him on as a guest. That guy did look quite interesting. The one that
But
you
what
showed
we
me.
could do is just, when I'm on holiday, just replace with a different Gary House and see if
Yeah.
anyone notices.
Or Gary Wong or whatever he's
Yeah.
called from the running show. In fact, no doubt the running show will have that guy in their programme next year, I'm sure, or his
Yeah.
Instagram handle.
Yeah, be cheaper than me anyway. No.
Let's see if he'll pick Rich up from the train station.
Yeah.
Double Rich.
Yeah.
Next question, Ben.
Okay. For both of you, running tights and lycra shorts on men. Yes or no?
I've got quite a strong opinion on this.
Running tights.
So the question: running tights and lycra shorts
What,
on
running
men.
tight? Oh, you
Yeah,
mean
like proper tights, like Ron Hill's, like say for example, or those like tight lycra shorts now. That's a big thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
No, that's
I
not
mean,
right.
It's an absolute no from me. Like I'm quite.
You look like you're going to a Pilates class.
Yeah, it's not. That has crept in, hasn't it? Recently.
Someone tried to send me a pair of those kind of things, and I'm sure they're lovely, and the rest of their kit was nice, but I just had to say no, that's not for me.
It's not a good look, I don't think. No, I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out on social media, but there's a few people that I follow that really actively wear these kind
There's
of
no
things.
winners there, though.
There is no winners, no.
You're either confident in them, or you're not confident in them, or you're on the other end of it. Like,
Yeah. Kirsty won't let me wear them either. What does Shal say? Kirsty says that
I've never attempted to wear them. I used to wear that like a twin skin short for some of the longer races, but it was mainly
that's covered
it was
up,
mainly
isn't it?
for chafe.
Yeah.
Because I don't get chafe.
And
it wasn't for like compression. Or anything
well, you've got that loose layer above it as well, haven't you, to kind of protect.
Yeah.
And
no, those you say, those short things. All they remind me of is like when you go to the gym and there's women there with like a 2-piece. I imagine. They look like them. You know, like I don't understand why you just wouldn't wear a pair of shorts, basically.
I'm with you.
Whereas tights, in my older age now, and it's so cold around here sometimes, there is a certain temperature and a certain run where I will just throw running tights on.
It's got to be cold. Yeah, it's got to be cold.
Got to be very cold, yeah.
Kirsty won't let me wear them. She said
won't wear tights.
She said that people will feel sorry for her if I wear tights or.
I do get that. I was like that for so long, and I look back at pictures, and I'm literally on a run with a group, and like got 5 layers on with a pair of shorts, and my foot is in ice or something. And maybe it's old age, but I do wear them a little bit. But I'm talking like Ben will know round, and it's not similar to you. It could be snowed in for 2 weeks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and if it's a nice day, I'll still have shorts on.
Yeah.
But if it's that sleety stuff or high wind, I'll usually stick some.
I'll very rarely wear tights. Usually when Kirsty doesn't know I'm wearing tights.
Yeah.
That's running tights. And I'll wear like a... Don't dress up in her clothes when she's out of the house. Let's just put that one straight. But sometimes I'll wear like a long jacket to sort of like cover my modesty, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I never get those people that would wear tights and
shorts over the top.
No, tights and a vest.
Oh, yeah. I know that's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah.
That's borderline.
Yeah.
Register behaviour.
I think so. I think so. I'm with you on that one as well. We are very much on the same page. That is, because that's unforgivable, isn't it?
You do see that though, don't you?
Yeah.
A running vest and tights. And but this is I've got 1 pair of running tights, so that probably tells you how often I would wear them.
I'm the same as well. I've got one pair.
And they're for emergency only, and if it would only be on when you can't see anything anyway, because no one will be out there. So
yeah. I mean, the irony is, like, I only ever wear them when it's really cold, so they're never flattering anyway. Do you know what I mean? But I would never wear, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this as well. I would never wear a pair of shorts over the top of tights. But what I have done, that's a bad look as well, isn't it? That's almost as bad as the tights and the vest or the spray on running shorts.
Yeah.
But I sometimes will wear, those really thin, waterproof kind of pack away trousers that you would put in an emergency kit, because they weigh nothing, they're fairly breathable. I mean, they're not fucking waterproof, let's be honest, are they? They're like, it goes straight through the water, but at least it kind of protects your modesty a little bit.
Often in the winter now, I've more often than not done that. A pair of shorts and then an old pair of waterproofs on, or something, like an old pair that they're not waterproof at all, but like you say, I'll wear them. If it's a longer run or if you're high up, chuck them on, and 10 minutes later you're there taking them off. But
exactly.
But yeah, these I definitely stick to shorts as much as possible.
Me too.
What you touched on there, for a long time, I never I used to cut the insides out with shorts. Call it the gusset.
Just let it hang. Yeah.
Well, no. I'd wear a pair of like running boxers.
Yeah.
And then stick the shorts on over the top, because I always loved. I just hate that kind of boxers, like underpants style short for some reason.
I mean, do you remember when Nike Pro first came on the scene with like compression gear? That was like a look, wasn't it? I know women still wear it a lot, but like the hot, almost like the hot pant, like it's like almost like you're wearing your boxer shorts.
It was because I did a couple of seasons of triathlon, so I used to have to wear that 2XU stuff. So that's the only time when I can remember in a race having those tights on, because you have your tights on and then like a base layer tight as hell, because then you can get your wetsuit over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always used to hate it, to be
Yeah.
honest, because then you jump on a bike and you're in that full length gimp suit.
So Ben, the answer from both of us is a hard no.
No.
And Nick Hardy, if you're listening, get some bloody shorts on, lad, or we're coming after you.
Unless you want to register. Not Nick Hardy, I just meant in general.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
There's
Nick.
no association there, Nick. Just wear some shorts, mate. Though.
Gary, could you just twist yours towards you a little bit, if it will? There we go. Meant.
My what?
Yeah, that's it. Okay. What races are you both doing this year? And is Ben's Barnsley briefcase likely to make another appearance as part of Gary's ultra support?
Barnsley briefcase.
The infamous Barnsley briefcase. I mean, there was no end of refreshments in that Barnsley briefcase.
If you like tonic water with no chaser, Ben's the man to go to.
I mean, I would say if you like crisps as well, but I ate all of those, didn't I, as well? So there
Yeah.
wasn't much left. Can of beer for Tom. I mean, anything can go in the Barnsley briefcase, and it is a cheaper alternative to carrying a race pack, I might add. We could probably get some branded up as well for Innovate. Fast, light, natural Barnsley briefcase
Yeah.
could be an option for them.
Fast, light, and natural bag for life.
Yeah, there we go. You can have that one for free, Adrian.
Go on,
yeah,
Ben.
races.
You must have some races coming up.
Oh, God, I'm going to say the Chamonix word again. Back in Chamonix. I'm back in Chamonix for Mont Blanc Marathon, but doing the half distance with New Balance and sports shoes in June, end of June. So that's my next one, and my next big one. I'm going to focus on that. I'll probably do some orienteering races as well. I've done a few already this year. I'm well into the orienteering, as I've mentioned, inspired by, what Kay said when she came on the podcast, and I just really love doing something a bit different. So that is very much on my radar this year, doing some more orienteering, organising some more Quid Games races as well. I've got a couple in the pipeline, so watch this space. But yeah, for me personally, it's going to be the Mont Blanc Marathon half. I don't know if you're going to be out there, Gary. Are you out for that one?
No,
nice to team up.
No, nobody's invited me to that one.
No,
but
not yet.
Yeah. Speaking about the orienteering, something popped up on one of them timeline, and it was urban orienteering. I can't remember the guy's name. It was in my head yesterday, but elite level runner in a city in Italy
Chris
somewhere.
Jones, was it? Chris
No,
Jones?
I don't think.
He's immense. It's Chris. Like he won.
Well,
Quid
no, I
Games
don't
the
think
first
it. I don't think he was from the UK. I might be wrong. I'll have to find it. Anyway, who it was is kind of irrelevant. But anyway, but it had someone following him through the streets of this amazing Italian kind of town, and it was, and because he was an elite athlete, and I think it was just like a promo video or something. I'd have to try and find it again, but it was a brilliant video because obviously you can imagine all the twists and turns in this little old village. It looked like a village,
amazing.
but
Yeah.
high built up in Italy kind of town. Just looked like like I followed it. It was almost like a computer game because you can see with the thumb on his map, and he's literally making little split decisions. And then obviously then I just zoomed off and lost it. But
yeah, so I'll have to try and find that.
Yeah.
That sounds incredible. Yeah.
So maybe if anyone's watching, maybe that could be some content that people put out, urban orienteering. But it was the guy was obviously, or girl who was following them, had a decent catch, like steady cam, and was following them really well. So
I mean, the gimbals now are incredible. They're actually built into a lot of the phones now, aren't they? So you could do a lot of good footage off.
Well, you see
your
them
iPhone.
at the races, don't you? Like at Transgran Canaria and UTMB, obviously the follow cams are next level on bikes and stuff. But also, like you say, the gimbals just, a lot of them are running around with the phones and stuff.
Yeah, so smooth.
Yeah.
So yeah, next up for you.
I've entered as part of the Tours de Géants week Tot Dret, which again sounds a bit insane, but obviously like the Transgran Canaria thing went as well as I could, and I've got a group of friends go into Tours de Géants, so I had to make a split decision because it sells out so quick. I didn't want to go full whack into Tours de Géants. I'm just nowhere near there. Tot Dret is the last 130k, I want to say, of it. A lot of elevation, as you can imagine. I can't remember how much, but mainly towards the end of September. Hopefully that'll be a nice running holiday more. Last year I went out and I was crewing for someone that's over there with Robbie, and I saw Tours des Géants for the first time up close, and so yeah, I just want to go out for the holiday. But I will, and what I want to do is some smaller summer events that I can go and enjoy. So maybe I'll join you on an orienteering or something.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because otherwise I've got no plans. Because it's weird, isn't it? I'm back running, but I've got no plans. So I can just jump into smaller events. I don't want to just be doing long. I know September's long, but this year will be the time where I can get out and do smaller events. For fun. So yeah,
sounds good. I think there's a lot we can do together, get involved with. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure the Barnsley briefcase will make an appearance again.
Yeah. So maybe the Barnsley briefcase won't be as support crew in terms of meeting me, but it'll be there as support crew for the day. Yeah,
I think so.
Because it'd be quite nice to do some of these races. Me and Ben have spoken in the past about just where both you can get a race done, maybe no work responsibilities, and then have a beer afterwards rather than
always been on an
tail.
agenda. Well, that would be nice actually. Spend a bit of quality time together. Because we're always pushed for time, aren't we? So looking forward to that. In fact, actually, I think there's the She Ultra race that Hugh's organising soon, and Kirsty's on about racing.
Going down?
That. So I'll probably come down, but that might be a quite nice excuse to get together.
I'm meant to be there, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Well, there we go then. Get Rich
and
down.
Show you the sights, mate, yeah.
Yeah, get the crew together. Maybe get Tom down, back on his almost home patch.
He'd like it down there, yeah.
There we go. So Tom, if you're listening, get that in the diary.
There you go, Hugh. Sort us all out some accommodation.
Exactly. Back on Hugh, mate. Back on Hugh.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Who is your biggest running hero?
Apart from Gary. He's definitely up there. No, do you want to go first, mate?
Have you got anyone in mind?
I mean, the obvious one. I'm going to do that thing where
Jet
I give...
from Gladiators.
Yeah, Jet from Gladiators. I'm going to give a few answers here. You know when I sort of like say, can I have three? And then I ended up saying three rather than one. So I mean, Killian is the obvious one for me. Obviously a good friend of mine, know him well, got him on WhatsApp. We've met a few times and
how's the Spanish coming along?
Spanish is coming on really well now, because we speak a lot. And
so when he comes on, you can be the interpreter, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I know his English is good, but it'd be good to get the Spanish going.
It would be good to get the Spanish going, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'll practice a bit more for when we do get him on the podcast. We'll definitely get him on at some point. I promise you, Gary.
He seems to be doing any old podcast now.
He does, doesn't it? I saw one that he was on with a couple of lads who I don't want to name and shame, but wasn't too happy about that, to be honest. Felt like he'd been cheating on me, really. I
feel like he'd come on this one as your friend.
Exactly.
Not just for the Wonga.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I felt like there was money involved in that last one, wasn't there, that he was on?
Must have been, mate, yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, if he comes on this one, totally different vibe, I reckon.
There won't be any money involved.
No. Definitely no money involved.
Get a cup of tea from Ben, maybe.
So, I mean, Killian's the obvious one, but do you know what? I'm going to say it's a female, actually. Victoria Wilkinson is probably my running hero. Now, for those people that don't know Victoria Wilkinson, I would say that she, in terms of trail, fell running, because she's a fell runner by trade, really, mountain running, she's probably the most successful female off-road runner we've had of all time in Britain.
Yeah.
Of all time. Like, she's somebody who she's not prevalent on social media. She actively stays away from it. But
I don't know at all, other than being a fan of the sport. And
I mean, she's just the greatest that ever was. She's
behind her.
the talent that she's got, and it's not just natural talent either. She's worked at it. She's trained really hard. She just looks like an athlete, and she's in her mid-40s now, and she's still getting in GB teams. She's got more GB caps than anyone, I think, that's ever been on the trail and mountain running team. Massively experienced, really good friend of mine as well, so I've spent a lot of time with her. Just an incredible person, like inside out and performance-wise. So yeah, definitely Victoria. If you've not heard of her, do a bit of research on her, look at some of the stuff she's achieved. I mean, I remember doing the Three Peaks fell race it must have been 8 years ago. I had a really good race for me. So let's say it was 2017, I think it was. And I ran around about 3 hours, 11 minutes, I think, off the top of my head. I might not have even gone that fast. I was having a good run. And I remember she came past me before we got to the last climb up Ingleborough, near the hill inn. If anybody's done the race, you know where it is. and she came past me like I was stood still, and we just had a laugh about it because I wasn't even running badly, and she was just incredible that day. She ran 3:10, I think, or 3:09. She set the record for the women's, and by some way, I might add. I don't think it'll ever be broken, if I'm totally honest, but it just showed that day like what incredible form she was in. She was a vet 40 at the time, I think, and or she was close to being a vet 40 at the time, and yeah, wow. So Victoria Wilkinson for me. Yeah, by yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had all that time, but I didn't think because I was listening. It's hard, really, because I mean,
I could mention a few. Like,
exactly.
There's a lot of people in there. Like Courtney is obviously another one.
Yeah, I mean, hero's quite hard, I guess, because like I say, when you're a fan of the sport, it's hard to say someone's my hero if I've not met them. But then if I've met them, they're usually a friend.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing. But outside looking in, I remember when I was first getting into the sport, so I remember those kind of times like captured my imagination more, and it was people like Paula Radcliffe, stuff like this in the road running scene, which like now I'm a completely different person. That wouldn't have captured my attention the same. So if I say it now, it almost sounds a bit weird. But
it's like a time of your life, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a way into the sport, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, and even like Usain Bolt, which I know it's a bit of a cop out, but I just don't think I'll see that in my lifetime, and I just feel
someone who transcends a sport. Yeah.
Exactly, privileged to be at a time in our life where I loved sport, loved the Olympics at the time, and he was doing what he was doing. It was just, he's one of the people I would just tune in no matter what.
The personality as well as the talent as well.
That's exactly. Yeah. But a bit more, I guess, closer to home. I'll probably go with like a Jim Walmsley, which I know you've chosen Killian, but like Jim Walmsley, I mean, talking these days, would be a hero in terms of, I just loved it when he came into the sport, how outspoken he was and his attitude. So again, to me, he was one after a long time. I thought, if he does what he says he's doing, amazing, but I just love the fact that he come out and he was quite outspoken in his goals and stuff, and he's mellowed, I think, with time, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's a confident person, isn't he?
Yeah, and I loved that. But then again, like the running joke with some of my friends is my ultimate hero in the sport is Francois Daines.
Yeah.
Do
you know,
achievement wise and just attitude wise, and
I'm not going to say I'm busy mates with Francois, but I did go on this incredible run with him once. It was through Salomon, so he'd not organised it and I'd not stalked him, but they were doing like a promotion for his S-Club collection, his Ultra collection, which is really high quality trail running gear. But he took us on this run, again, from Chamonix, and it was an amazing run. Sometimes, you do these runs with brands at UTMB, and they're kind of low level in the valley, and they tick a box, and you see all these like groups of people in the same running kit running around, and you never really go that far, and they're never really that inspiring, although you are in a beautiful place, even if it's in the bottom of the valley. But he took us up on this huge run. It was a serious run. And I remember when we came back towards Chamonix, we were at the front of the group and we were descending together, and we were just in that flow state, and we were just chatting. We were actually chatting about Jim Walmsley, because I know they're good friends now, and he's helped him on his journey. And it was like a real special moment that, like, I thought, I had to pinch myself. I actually filmed a little bit from behind, not in a pervy way, just like this is a pretty cool thing. I'm like, look at this, I'm running with Francois Daines on this descent, and we were going like decent pace as well. And it was one of those like pinch me moments where I thought, I could be teaching right now. I'm not, I'm running with Francois Daines, and this is my job, and this is amazing. So yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, good question, I guess. You could go on all day.
Yeah, you could go on all day.
And like, I always think back to what different things mean different at different times, I guess. And still, like, my memories of Liz McColgan, and then being a fan of Eilish McColgan, I know I've already banged on about it. Like, not some weirdo, but I just think there's some people in the sport that
change the game.
They change the game, but they also go above and beyond and stuff. Yeah. Like I've got a daughter. I've got a 9-year-old daughter. So seeing strong women and stuff I love to see it in all sport. Like, football's big for her, but in running, I always think there's women in running that I could point to and say, look, like, follow their example, kind of thing. And you can't say that with all sports.
No, you can't.
really.
And Courtney DeWalter, I've done her a disservice
Yeah.
here because she
You
was
could
somebody
mention that because of
yeah.
results, and
Yeah.
then I feel like, well, not that I know the others, but like I've not had a chance to
No,
spend
no.
any time with.
Yeah.
Not that I have with the others, but
I think as well with Courtney, I can't think of another sports woman who was almost bigger than the sport. She is for me, and for what she's achieved. I don't think anybody will ever achieve the big three where she's done Hard Rock, she's done Western States and UTMB in one season. I mean, for me, that really took her above and beyond. I suppose Serena Williams is probably the only other person who kind of is the biggest person in a sport, but she's female. I mean, you'd argue Killian for trail running, but actually, I think Courtney and Serena are probably the two biggest personalities, or have been in their sports, and the women, which I really like. Yeah, and just going back to gym. Sorry, I'm
so when
all
you're
over the
getting
place,
Serena on, and
yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Going back to Jim as well. I've spent quite a lot of time with him through work. He's such a nice guy. I've got so much respect for him. And I remember when I first started really liking him was when he came fourth at UTMB about 3 years ago, before he won it. And I watched the race unfold, and he was at the front. And then there was a moment where you knew he wasn't going to win, and he was going backwards. And I think I say most people, there are other people in that race who would have probably thrown the towel in and just DNF'd, knowing they wasn't going to win, and had a really tender moment with his wife at Vallecine at the last big checkpoint. And he said, "Look, I can't hold them off." It's like almost like a famous quote in my head now, and I get like teary when I watch it. I've seen it on film, and he sets off knowing he's going to get caught and knowing he's going to lose, and he still did it, and he still finished it. And he said at the end of the race, "I'm going to come back and I'm going to give him hell." And he came back and he won it in record time. And at the same checkpoint the year after when he set the record, Francois was there. And it was a totally different
dynamic. Yeah, I remember seeing them together. Yeah.
And I mentioned that to Jim, and he said he'd not actually reflected and thought about that. I mentioned it in an interview with him. And he said, "Yeah, actually, now you mention it, that is quite a switch, and I'd never thought about it." But for me, that always stuck with me, and that's all I'll always remember about Jim, the fact that he came back and he recovered from that, and he said, "I'm going to do it," and he did it, and what a man.
In that race where he came back and did it, and he was putting in one of the best performances you've kind of seen.
So dominant.
But having Francois in those later stages, I remember thinking his whole demeanour is so calm and relaxed and stuff, and it's like, I think just having him there,
kept him
you could hear a pin drop in that checkpoint tent kind of thing,
could.
and it was like I think he was obviously on track anyway, but it was great to see that inside bit of.
And what I'd learned from Francois over the last 2 years from living in France, training for UTMB, and I know this for a fact, like that impact that Francois had on his career and his life and his journey for UTMB, actually was the difference between him losing and winning. Like that, the way he approached it differently, just spending time in the mountains, getting UTMB strong as opposed to, ultra strong. Like he'd learned a lot off him, and the fact that he got in there at that same moment where he'd had the failure the previous year, I think was really special. So yeah, gone a bit deep there, haven't I? Gone off on a right tangent, but
yeah, we've listed about 10 heroes.
Good question. Yeah, we could keep going as well. Maybe we do an episode on that, and yeah, there's lots to talk about. We better go to another question, Ben.
So it's 3:27 now. You all right for time?
Yeah. Yeah, if I get off at 1:45, we'll be all right.
Let's do another question, Ben. Let's do one more
20-minute question.
So, yeah, if we've got more, see if we can get through it a bit quicker.
So, should be an easy one. What's your favourite pre-race meal?
Pizza. There you go.
Yeah,
Next question.
Yeah, let's moving swiftly on. Pizza is one of those foods though you can eat at any time.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's better the second time round. I like cold pizza for breakfast as well, so I could do pizza breakfast.
I've never let it get that far.
Have you not? Oh, pizza anytime for me. Anytime.
Yeah.
It can be any meal of the day for me. I mean, if I'm running in the morning, it's classic porridge. But I tell you what I do like, and this is just from spending a lot of time in Spain, is tortilla. So classic Spanish tortilla with some bread. And I've always had a good race on that as well.
I guess it's different because like me and Ben race different races. So a lot of the time in my races, I won't have a breakfast because I'm starting so early.
Yeah.
So when people ask me that question, I'm always like, I'll always have the focus on the evening meal. make that good, and then I'll have like a carb mixed drink or maybe a little snack in the morning, and then I'm usually starting at 6 or 7 in the morning for an ultra, say.
That's an interesting point.
Whereas like your races, yeah, you can have a breakfast and stuff, so it's always interesting. I used to force myself to get up and have a porridge or something. It's just counterproductive for me.
And I think you're right, because the way that you're approaching the races and how they kind of play out and the time that you're on your feet, you can almost fuel whilst you're running. Whereas for me, I'm fueling for the run. So I'll generally tend to eat something that I know is going to get me through that race, and I'm just topping up on gels. So I'm not consuming any food other than gels or like jellies when I'm in a race, or liquids. So I never thought about that, Gary, but you're right. It's a totally different approach.
A lot of it is timing. So, but I always, and even with the people I coach, it's almost like don't really try and change anything. But for a lot of races, I just grew into having. I quite often have pizza because there's not many places in the world that I can get a pizza the night before a race. And then if it's people racing in the morning, I just say I get them like just practice going to McDonald's before your long run. And then they'll laugh at you, and you'll be like, "No, because you can go in and get a bagel or some toast or porridge or something."
Yeah.
And a lot of there's not many places in the world where you cannot get a McDonald's before your race.
That's true.
So it's quite standardised that way.
You know what you're going to get. You're right.
For McDonald's.
I've always.
I'm not saying go in and
get
a double egg sausage egg McMuffin, obviously, but
I've always run them quite well after a Mackie D breakfast, though. Like that's a good tip. To be fair, you know what you're going to get. You're right. Actually,
a couple of hash browns, mate. A couple of hash browns is rocket fuel.
Bit of salt and fat, and you're ready to go. And for me, always a coffee as well. Like at some point before I'm racing.
Oh yeah.
I'll sometimes smash a few espressos down before I'm doing a race in Italy.
Got to clean the pipes before you get out.
Exactly, get it all out. One more, or should we save them for next time? Let's do one more.
I'm running the Yorkshire Free Peaks in April. Do you have any top tips for me?
Well, I'll start because I've only done it once and it was a complete shit show. So
was that to do with coffee?
No. I just thought I was probably capable of more than I actually was, and that race can bite you in the bum, as Ben will fill you in more. But I was fit, and I was really fit, and I trained kind of specifically for it. But I trained, I basically trained like a marathon runner to get myself fit, to be honest. And it was just the running in between the three major hills, obviously. Added up to the last, probably third, not going too well. Yeah, just hanging on.
It's a very unique race, isn't it? In the sense that you have got all this good running in between the big climbs. And you see it so often that people set off too quickly. They do so much in that first sort of half of the race. They've got nothing left for the second and third climb.
Because I wasn't that used to racing those kind of fell races at a time where it's like it's different where you're at, and it would be different for me, and it's different again for Ben, who's another level of runner at that kind of race. But I knew that I would have to run in those in-between bits, and I just got it wrong, to be honest.
It's a really hard race to master. I don't actually like the race, even though I live in the Yorkshire Dales. And I think it's partly because I've never had a good race there, and it doesn't suit my running at all. So I think I've got a kind of a negative attitude towards it anyway. I just think it's quite fabricated, the race, and you're trying to get all the three peaks in, but it's not the best route in the Dales. It's not,
is it?
No, and
there's
it's not
some
even
enjoyable bits, but
it doesn't even go up the best way up Pen-y-Ghent, I don't think, which is the best of the three peaks in my opinion. But I think in terms of tips, and this actually could sort of, you could use this to apply to many races, and I'm not saying this from a coaching perspective because I'm not a coach, but from being an experienced runner, is if you're doing a race and it starts at 10 o'clock, do your training, or as much training as you can, at those times, if that makes sense. That's a good tip, innit? I've always gone with that. And as many recce's as you can as well, so you get used to the terrain, the climbs.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma Clayton at the moment, she's local runner to me. She's training for the three peaks. I really hope she wins it because she's put loads of time in, and she's a brilliant runner. Emma Moran, she's called now. She's been married a few years. Super talented, super committed, and I just want it to be a year this year. But she's putting the time in. She's training on the peak. She's doing specific training for it. Get to know the route, familiarise yourself with it, the terrain, the climbs, and with the peaks as well. The weather makes a difference as to which shoes you can wear. You could actually wear road shoes for that, even though it's essentially a fell race, if it's dry enough, or something in between where, because you've got all that good running in between, you want something that's going to just protect your feet on those runnable sections. But I think you've got to practice that race a lot to get used to how to run those runnable sections.
Definitely agree with that with Ben, because I could have quite easily gone to wreck it and I didn't wreck it. I just relied on getting fit, and like I say, I was fitter than I'd been for a long time. But I should have wrecked it, because I wore those old style Innovate 180s.
Yeah, so
right,
not much underneath, not much underfoot. And
fantastic shoe, love that shoe for fell racing, and I've still got a picture of me in them running along like the hard kind of it's almost like cobbledy ground. It looks
there's big slabs, isn't there? The big
exactly.
paving slabs.
And I just remember,
together.
like I don't often have foot trouble, but because I just because running fast on the fells in those shoes felt amazing, but running fast on effectively road did not feel good.
No. And I wouldn't class it as a fell race either. I think there's too much good running in it. I think there's too much, like you said, hard ground. And it's also a route that changes over time. So you'll do it one year, and then the next year it'll be different because they might have paved a way up. In fact, they've paved the climb up to the top of Pennygent. So
it's changed.
It's changed completely, and it's very hard underfoot. So yeah, you've got to practice that.
Definitely just
get your fueling right as well.
Like Ben said, be specific if you're going to want to have your good run there. And yeah, but and that advice, I still use this with the people that I coach, because I still get people doing it, and I try and treat it as, especially the time of year, almost like you're training for a marathon, but adjust the sessions for the hills, because you do need that fitness.
Yeah, you do.
If you're going to have a good run, but then be specific with it as well,
That's a race that suits a good runner. I think a good road runner could turn up and do well at that. But again, do those things if you're serious about it to give you the edge, get your fueling strategy right, practice the route, train at the same time as you're racing. I just think that's a great tip for anybody who wants to do well in any race. If you're starting at midnight, you should be doing some runs at midnight. I don't know. You think, or at least getting used to, your body needs to be used to,
you have to kind of know what it feels like, I think. And
running through the night as well sometimes. If you've got a race where you're running through the night, you need to practice in the dark.
It's really weird, because I'll get the full range of people going in, like, Gary, should I do some runs in the middle of the night? And that's when I guess you have to look at your own lifestyle as well. If they're quite short on time, or if they've got family life at the weekend, I'm like, do you really want to be running through the night and you just ruin the rest of your next 3 or 4 days of training because you've had no sleep?
Yeah.
That sleep deprivation ruins your next week of training. Like, are you confident enough that you'll be okay in the dark? And if they say yes, just leave it then.
Yeah.
Because you'll deal with it when you deal with it.
So would, rather than that, then you would say, if you're not confident in the dark, that's when you would practice.
Exactly. If it's someone that's almost like they're not used to running alone in the dark, or whatever it is, anything about, like, basically the fear of the unknown rather than just for training, then I would say, okay, well, go on a buddy run at night, or some people have never used a head torch properly, go out and use the head torch. It doesn't have to be at midnight, but I'm just not a massive fan a lot of the time with people that are really busy of going, right, okay, go and spend your Saturday night 12 till 6.
Yeah. It's a fair point. Yeah.
But you're right. There's still a lot of people that I would say, okay, let's go in.
Yeah.
Once in your training, just so you know what it feels like.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not often that you are starting at midnight anyway, is it? But I think the point being that if you races at a certain time,
even more important is like a 6 a.m. start or something.
Yeah.
Because that is that weird place of, do you have breakfast? Don't you? What time are you getting up? What is your normal routine? All that kind of stuff. Can you even train at 6 a.m.? Are you actually training at 6 a.m. or are you just chucking clothes on at 10 to 6 and getting out the door?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing.
And the other one is, like, a lot of the Bofra races that Kirsty does and I've done a lot of as well. They're in the late afternoon on a Sunday. That is such
I used to really struggle with fell racing for that horrible thing. I just could not get myself into racing on a Saturday afternoon. Typically around here, I mean, you could, but there's the odd one that was a Sunday morning instead. I used to perform much better on those.
Yeah. And I think that does go back to your preference and when you normally train. If your body's used to, and again, not a coach, but I just think from experience, like, if your body's used to doing an effort at that time in the morning or it's the same time as when you're racing, it does have a big advantage, doesn't it?
You know, if we put out the question, when would you rather run a session, not just a run, you'd have equal amount of people saying morning versus evening.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Sometimes it's forced because of lifestyle, or sometimes it's just what you physically can get up for as well, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I just kind of play to your strengths a little bit. For example, I could never do a session in the evening.
No.
But so many people I coach, for example, can only do a proper session in the evening.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no right or wrong with that.
It's whatever suits. Work out what fits into your lifestyle, your schedule, and get the best from it. I think we answered that and a bit more.
Yeah. Interesting question, that one.
Good question. We'll save the rest of the questions. I think we had more questions, but we'll save that for the next episode of ChatGBT. Good episode, that. I think, covered a lot of different questions. Thanks to the question master, Ben.
Cheers, Laz.
Yeah. Hope the condom promotion goes well for Innovate there. Fast, light, natural. Cheers, Adrian, for the stuff as well. And
Ribbed for your pleasure.
That's the next campaign, isn't it? And without further ado, we'll see you next Tuesday. 22. That's all right.
Happy days.
Yeah. I just thought then you need to get straight.
No, you're right. By the time I get back, I probably need to leave about 4 with them. So that's all.
Yeah. No, perfect. Thanks, Ben. That was really good. Enjoyed that.